Hey, it's Lauren with Bargain Bead Box, and I am super excited today to be creating with our September sweater weather collection. So I'm going to be designing a necklace as we go, so this should be fun. My goal is to show different ways you can use a center drilled focal piece. I've gotten a few questions about this in our YouTube comments and our email, and so I thought, hopefully this will help. I'll show you just a couple of different ways you can add these to your designs, and then I'll design a necklace showing off one of those ways. So should be fun. From the box, I'm definitely going to use our mahogany obsidian coins, and I will also be using some of our larger 48mm filigree components, our 4mm mahogany obsidian. I'll probably throw in the bronzite, maybe the petrified wood. I'll probably use some of the spacers and bead caps too. We'll see. But the only things I'm going to be adding are some basic findings. So I have some 6mm, I believe these are, jump rings, ring 153 at Bead Box Bargains. And we'll see what else we need. I'll be using the clasp from the box. Also, oh yes, I will also be adding in some clamshell bead tips and crimp beads and some tiger tail wire as we get started here. All right, so let's get everything opened up and take a look. Okay, so first of all, arguably the simplest way to add a center drilled focal piece to your design is just to put it on a head pin. So you're just gonna thread your pin through. I've added a little glass bead on top, and then you just make a simple loop at the top. And if you don't know how to do that, it's really very easy. You're just gonna, here I'll show you this eye pin, because of course I already put my head pins up. And you're just gonna trim it to, actually that's about the perfect length. Grab the top of your loop, curl it back, grab the base of the loop with the hook facing away from you, and curl it back towards you. It should look like that now. Turn it around so it's facing you. Grab the tip of that loop again and twist towards you, rolling it down until you've made a loop. So that's a really easy way to do it. And you can also do it with an eye pin like I have here and string directly onto it like that. If you're making it like as a link, or you could add some chain or a dangle or something underneath here and then bead onto the top. There's lots of ways you can add coin beads to your designs using a head pin if you just want to loop at the top, or an eye pin if you want to loop on both sides. Really simple, really straightforward, easy to do. Another way, and the way I'm going to use for this specific piece, is to, since this one's kind of flat, I'm going to add it as like an embellished piece to this filigree component here. And there we go. And our drill hole on this one is kind of towards this side, so I'm going to use that as the back. And with the wavy pattern, I don't want to glue this. It's not going to hold very well because, the one point of contact here would not hold super great. So instead, I'm going to take some clear monofilament, and I am going to make just a little quick link here by attaching the bead with the monofilament cord. So I'm going to string it on. And let me see here. Find a good filigree loop to go back down through. And I think that these little loops on the side will do well. So I'm going to take one end. And again, I want this side to be on the back. So I'm going to take one end and string it through on the side here. Pull that down. And then on the opposite side, with the other end, sorry, this is clear cord. It's a little bit of a pain to work with. I'm going to put it, we did this loop on the left. I'm going to go through this loop on the right up here. We're going to do a kind of cat corner. And then I'm going to come up through the back in the loop next to it. Right there. And then down through that same loop I went through the first time. So all you're really doing is wrapping that monofilament around the center piece of the filigree a few times, almost like sewing, just to hold the bead in place. And I'll do the same thing with the other end. Up through the one next to it, down through the same one. And then, honestly, to keep it tucked in place where I want it, I'm also going to put it through this little petal underneath. Well, I'm going to go up through the petal next to it on the right, so we'll go on the left of the one down there. And then down through that oval petal underneath. We're just going to hold it nicely in place. Perfect. And now I'll do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to go down through this petal on the right. And then back around and through that center petal there. All right, come on. Work with me here. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to pull it into position in the center of the filigree piece. Looks pretty good. And I'm just going to tie a knot. I'll do left side over and around the right. You're doing a square knot. Right side over and around the left. And we'll repeat that, pulling it nice and tight. And then I will put a drop of glue on top of that knot after we are finished here, just to make it extra secure. But there we go. So now we've got a nice little fancy filigree halo, sort of, around our focal bead. And we've got lots of loops to work off of. Ooh, so this is where it gets fun. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to try, let's see, we'll do, I think this would look pretty, but I don't need that top center loop. So we're going to just take wire cutters and very carefully clip it off. And we can always clip a little bit closer, so I always try to err on the side of not damaging the finish there. But I'm now going to grab a nail file, and I'm just going to file that down a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of file, see how there's a little bit of sharp edge left in the top loop there. Just going to file that down using a nail file so that nothing is sharp. We don't like sharp edges on our jewelry. That is not ideal. So there we go. We're getting there. Almost done. And if you have too much, you can always clip a little bit of it off. I didn't really have much there, but just to show you. And one trick I sometimes use, if you end up with a bunch of silver where you filed it, I have a bronze Sharpie that I'll sometimes just run over it to get rid, or to kind of repair the finish. Okay, or a little bit of bronze paint, you know, whatever you want to do. I just really like to make sure that my jewelry is smooth, and in fact there's a little bit of flashing there that I'm going to sand off too. All right, feels good, it's not pokey. Yeah, you've got a little bit of silvery bit showing there where you've rubbed the finish off, but it's really not visible when you're wearing the piece. So I'm not going to super worry about it. But again, you could get just some little antique bronze paint or, like I said, my Sharpie trick works as well. But the important thing is now we have a 2-to-1 connector, which is what I wanted for this piece. So I'm going to grab my jump rings, and I'm just going to really quickly pull one open, and connect the front of this connector with one of the top loops of our focal piece here. And there we go. I like that. I think that's really pretty. It's going to work well. All right, here's where the fun starts. I'm going to take my tiger tail wire. I have this idea. It might be crazy, but I think it's going to be fun. I want to make a big impact with the small 4mm mahogany obsidian beads, right? Because this is a pretty big statement, this large, I did not get that close all the way, large piece. So I want it to really stand out. There we go. So I'm going to try making like a looped component on either side using some tiger tail wire and our 4mm mahogany obsidian round beads, and I might add some bronzite to it as well. So this is a swoop. And there we have all of our mahogany obsidian beads. All right. That should be enough. I'm thinking about 20 pieces for our initial loop here. Gather up my ones that I spilled. So we'll just string these really quickly. And my goal is just going to be to create a lot of, again, big visual impact with small beads and kind of a large shape with them. So that's 6. And I think I'll try to bring in some of the bronzite too. I love mahogany obsidian for fall. I love that rich red, brown, and black combination. So pretty. All right, 5, 10, 12. We're getting there. And I'll see 14, 15. I think I want about 20. We'll see how this looks. 15, 16, 17. And then 18, 19, 20. Perfect. All right, so once we have all 20 of these threaded on, like so, I'm going to grab some bead caps and one of our bronzite beads. I love these. The matte bronzite is so fun. It looks like a wood grain, but it's not. It's subtly metallic. So fun. All right, and I'm stringing both ends of my tiger tail wire through that first bead cap, both ends through a bronzite bead, and another bead cap. Now I'm just going to double check that I have an even number of beads on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. Yay, I did count correctly. Okay, perfect. So now, I think that's going to be so fun. I'm going to connect it like this. Now I'm going to grab a clamshell bead tip and a crimp bead. Okay, so I'm going to take this clamshell bead tip and I'm going to pull it flat like so. I'm going to string both ends of the wire through it. And now I'm going to string on a crimp bead. And it doesn't matter what color the crimp bead is. The little bead cover is going to hide it forever. So, and usually when I'm doing this, I loop around and back through to give the crimp bead a little more to hold on to. Let's see if we can do that with double strands and still have it, if this crimp bead is going to be wide enough. I think it will, at least for one of them. This is very difficult to do so far from my eyes. Such small crimp bead. All right. 1, 2. Look at that. All right, so we've looped both sides through. I'm going to pull it tight. Okay, and that just gives that crimp bead a little more security. I'm going to take my crimping pliers and I'm going to crimp it with the inside notch first. Let's make a little C shape, then the outer notch to kind of compress that. And I'm going to give the inner notch a little more too, just to really get in there. Okay, that looks good. I think that's going to hold pretty well. So I'm going to trim the tiger tail wire off, and I'm going to close up our clamshell bead tip. And there we go. Now we have this fun loopy component that goes right here. So I'm going to make another one exactly the same way. 20 beads strung through a bead cap, bronzite bead cap, and then we're going to finish it again with that tiger tail wire with a crimp bead and a clamshell bead tip at the end. All right, so I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll design the rest of the necklace. All right, I have finished my second loop here. Again, made it just like I did that first one. And I'm going to eventually attach them with jump rings here. But first, we're going to try part 2 of my crazy idea. And for that, I will need another 40 pieces of mahogany obsidian. So, see if I can do this without throwing them absolutely all over the room this time. That was a little better. All right, so this time we're going to be doing a very similar component, but the catch is I want to loop it through this first component. I want them to be connected. So I'm going to string on, set this aside, we'll work here. I'm going to string on my 20 beads first of all. I have never tried anything quite like this before, but I feel like it's going to look fun. And again, we're just going for big visual impact with small beads. So making interlocking teardrop shapes, I think is a fun way to do that. We're going to try it and see. So here's 8, almost halfway there, 9, 10, and we're halfway. All right, so once I've finished this, we will connect it to our first one over here. 13, 14. I think fall is my favorite season to design for. It's really just my favorite season. In general, we're supposed to get temperatures back up in the high 80s next week, or later this week. We've had a lovely first false fall here in Tennessee. It's been in the upper 60s in the morning when I get up and go take care of the goats, and I love that. All right, so here we go. I'm going to take one end and just string it straight through here like that. I'm going to double check my bead count and make sure I have 10 on each side. Looks like I do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. And now I'm just going to repeat that process with the bead caps and the bronzite. And then we'll just finish off just like we did the first one. So get my bead tips and some crimp beads out. Here we go. So it's looped around and through our first piece. So these will be interlocked once we have completed them. And here we go. Here's a bead cap, a bronzite bead, and another bead cap. Pull it tight. Add a clamshell bead tip, opened up and flattened, so you can get nice and close up to it with those crimping pliers. Then we're going to take our crimp bead, string it over both strands, and then loop both strands back around and through. And look at that, I did it on the first try this time. Haha. Okay, pull both these wires tight. we go. Get my crimping pliers. And again, do it on the inside notch first. Kind of make a little curved C. And then the outer notch will compress that into a nice little round shape. And sometimes I give it, with this, it's wrapped all around these wires, I give it another squeeze with that inside notch just to compress it even further. And then I'm going to trim the wires. And I'm going to fold the clamshell bead tip up and around that crimp bead. Okay, how cool is that? We now have these interlocking pieces, which will connect here. That is really fun. I'm actually super happy with how this is coming out. I always love it when a crazy idea works. I think that does create a lot of visual impact with just a little tiny 4mm round beads. And I'm going to repeat that process on this side, so I'll just do the exact same thing and create another interlocking half on this side of the necklace. Okay, so now I've got both of my double loops made. I actually really love how that came out. I'm very excited. So I'm going to take some jump rings and I'm just going to attach them to my center loop here. All right. Got my little jump ring and my big grabby pliers today because my wrists are slightly flared. I get tendonitis sometimes, and the big grabby pliers just make it easier for me. All right, so I'm just going to string both loops of that clamshell bead tip onto my jump ring, and then I'm going to close it up. Do the same on the other side. Oh, that's such a fun shape. I love that, the looped links. That makes me really happy. And we'll do this here on the other side. Open the jump ring, thread all the loops onto it, and close it up. All right, so now we've got the front of our necklace all constructed, and I have to say I love it. Now let's do the sides and the back. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to grab the medallion links from the box because I'm thinking they'll be pretty here. Yeah, I like that. It kind of ties back into our medallion pendant. So let me grab a couple more jump rings. And we'll just attach those right here. And then after that, maybe I'll get an eye pin and I'll do another bronzite bead. I think that'll be pretty. And then we'll finish with chain and a clasp. There's one side. This does use basically the entire strand of the mahogany obsidian rounds, but I think it's very worth it. I love all the rich, earthy browns in this piece. Okay. There we go. All right, so I'm going to take an eye pin, 2 eye pins, since we have 2 sides we're working with, and 2 more bronzite rounds, and 4 more bead caps. And I'm just going to make little quick links, the bead cap, bronzite rounds, and another bead cap. And then I will trim off the excess. Then grab the top of the loop, curl it away from me, make a little hook, grab the base of that hook, curl it back towards me. So it looks like that. Spin it around, grab the front of that loop, and kind of just curl it on down. So you've got a simple closed loop. Okay, and then I'm going to swing that open again. Just swinging it sideways, not uncurling the loop we just made. Stick it on our medallion link and close it up. There we go. Now we've just got a little bronzite on both sides of that link, which I like. Although actually, you know what? We've got a jump ring beside or between them on this side. I like it better for just consistency's sake. I'm actually going to close this again. I'm going to use a jump ring to attach it on this side too, just because that will keep them equidistant from the center link, and I think I'm going to like that better. So here goes. Swing that open, run it through the loops. Yeah, I like that better. It just creates the same amount of distance between the links and the bead on both sides. Okay, and we're going to do that one more time. So we're going to trim it down to about right there. Grab the top, curl it back, grab the base, curl it towards me, so it looks like that. Grab that tip, spin it around, and curl it down and towards me. All right, and now we're just going to take one more jump ring, open it up, string those loops on, and close it again. Okay, so here we go. I think that's really lovely, and I think we are ready for some chain. All right, now if you've watched any of my tutorials, you know I love to double up on chain. And this is going to be no exception, just because it's so pretty. It's a lovely figure of chain. It looks thicker. It looks, I don't know. I just feel like, especially with our large pieces, it's going to work better to double it. Now, here's where I'm going to have a little bit of fun. I'm going to get my toggle clasps, actually. And I'm going to use both of them for this. All right, and I am going to attach them with jump rings. Here we go. And I'm only going to use one, well, maybe two. We'll see. We'll see. All right. I'm going to do my lazy chain, which is my favorite way to do it. It has the added bonus of also creating the option to add different lengths. So I'm just going to open and close the jump rings, attach our round toggle rings here. And now, yeah, this is going to be fun. Now I'm going to take my chain and one of the toggle bars, and I'm going to see how long I want this to be. This one I'm going to make a shorter chain. We're going to create some options here. So shorter chain, yeah, I think about that's probably about 10 inches. Doubled over, it'll be about 5. I like that. Now I'm going to cut one of these links open, or let's see, are these fused or not? They are not, so I don't actually have to cut it. I just have to open it like a jump ring, I think. We'll see. If it gives me too much trouble, I will, no, open right up. There we are. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take a single jump ring. If I can find where I set those. All right. Here is another. Oh, they're all the way over here. There we are. Oh my goodness, creative chaos some days in the studio. So I'm going to take a single jump ring, like so. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to slide both chain ends and my toggle end on that jump ring. Grab it with my pliers. Again, I'm using my super grippy ones today. Here we go. And now we've got this nice little loop. Oh, there's one extra. Hang on. This one, I missed a loop on the end of this Figaro piece, but I'm just going to pull it off. I like having the Figaro pattern completed at the jump ring. So we'll just shorten that chain. There we go. All fixed. That's perfect. Okay, so now we're going to take our chain. We're going to string it through here. So you've got a nice loop here, see? And we're just going to tuck the toggle clasp back under and through. So now you've attached your chain to that side, and you've got your clasp half on this side. Oh, little buggy coming to say hi. Goodbye. Okay. Here's our finished piece. We've got our toggles, we've got our loops, and we've got our pendant. So we've created this beautiful eye-catching necklace. Now, if you want to change the length, all you have to do, I'm going to make a longer, just for example, if I was going to use this whole piece of chain, you can create a longer chain that you can interchange. Again, all you have to do to remove it is pull that loop open and get that clasp through. So you can remove and swap the chain. You could do a shorter chain and a longer chain, and that way you have variable lengths of necklace to work with. Or you can just do the one chain the length you like. It's just an easy way to attach it. So I call it my lazy chain method because you only use one jump ring. It's very easy. It's just a little lazier than attaching it to both sides. But it's also stylistically a fun choice for this piece, which is why I'm using it here, because I like the way that the two open rings here call back to the round filigree patterns in the centerpiece. I think the texture is fun too, and I think it works well. So I'm not really just being lazy. It is intentional. It just has the added benefit of also being easy to do and easy to swap. So there we are. And now you've got a much longer necklace. And you can swap them back and forth as you like. So I enjoy that. And that is our necklace for today. Again, this is a simple way to add a center drilled bead to your design. And I really do love the filigree pieces as a backdrop for it. Then we've got our fun little double teardrops. And then finally, our links and our chain. I'm very excited to wear this piece. I hope that you've enjoyed hanging out today. Thank you so much for watching. We will have some more fun September bargain bead box videos coming up. Again, we're trying to release our tutorials a little earlier this month just because usually we wait until, we release the box extras on the website. And we've had some feedback that it might be helpful to have some ideas earlier in the month. So hope that this doesn't come off as spoilers for you. Hope that this has been useful. And I'd love to know what you think of both that timing and, also I'd love to see what you make with the September box. So if you're on Facebook and you're not already a member, make sure you join us at the Bargain Bead Box Creative Corner Facebook group. absolutely incredible group of jewelry designers. I'm always so impressed with everything that you all put together every month. If you have any questions, if you're stumped by a certain component, or you're like, hey, what do you guys want to do with this? It's a great place to get ideas too. Everyone is so kind and helpful. And it's also a great place to show off your creations and inspire others, as well as enter our design gallery contest. So if you do not have to be a Facebook group member to enter that contest, you can also send pictures of your creation to support@bargainbeadbox.com. Make sure that it features items from the Bargain Bead Box. You can include other things from your collection if you like as well. It just has to feature box items too. And make sure, whether you email or post, that you mark your submission either in the email title or the put in the comments on your post or when you're posting it that you do want it to be a contest entry. That way we know we have your permission to share your design in our monthly design gallery and enter you into the drawing and the crowd favorite contests. Thank y'all so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, a beautiful rest of your day, and as always, happy beading.